Hi, Assalamualaikum and Selamat Sejahtera. So in our seminar presentation today, we are going to present to you guys about gamification in science learning. So let's go! We are really familiar with the word game, right? But how this game can be applied in education? So let me explain. The use of gamification in education is when we, the teachers, can apply gaming element to enhance to the motivation and promote learning. So gaming element can be divided into two that are mechanical and dynamic element that we will discuss more further in the next slide. So the main concept behind gamification is that to increase student motivational with gaming element, which this gaming element can apply to an educational situation. Game mechanic are rules and reward that you can see by using your own eyes, or in short, game mechanic is the design in game environment. So there are several elements that associate with the mechanic element in gamification. For example, point, level, mission, leaderboard, badges, and progress. Game mechanics are how participants engage with a gamification program and receive next step and feedback on accomplishment. Game dynamic refer to emotion, behavior, and desire. Or in short, game dynamic is what makes players feel motivated to play the game. For example, it's reward, achievement, self-expression, and competition. The example for mechanical and dynamic element is when you playing Kahoot. The game mechanic in this game is where the player will give a point only for the correct answer. And you realize the faster you answer, the more point that you get. On the other hand, the game dynamic in Kahoot is competition because the competition present between the player, especially when displaying the leaderboard after each question. So the player feel motivated to answer correctly after see their current ranking on leaderboard.
Now, I will proceed regarding the relevance of gamification in learning science and science education. As you can see, the critical issues in science education. The first one is the students' interest in science. This is because of the higher demands of student time in learning science, less practical nature of science teaching and learning. Fellow science students will largely aggregate from high school to get admission into tertiary institutions to broad nature of science content, lack of sponsorship for science students, and school science as difficult subject compared to others. Next is the shortage of qualified science teachers. Nobody needs assessment research on science teachers in terms of knowledge and skill. It is important as such a needs assessment will not only inform the development of an effective training program, but also be able to keep pace with the ever-changing revision of the science curriculum. Nevertheless, in practical terms, not all teachers have the opportunity to experience in service training or professional development. Hence, there should be other alternatives to making sure that the attempt to affect large-scale change at the classroom level is achieved smoothly and successfully. Let us move to the next slide. Why gamification should be included in learning science? Based on the statistic, the state of online gaming 2020 research report that between playing games and watching TV shows or movies, there are clear preferences by age groups, where gamers 18 until 45 prefer to play video games, and those 46 and older prefer watching movies and TV shows. According to a Pew Research Center report, gaming is a social for most teens. That's why gamification should be included in learning science. Okay, then the relevance of gamification in science education. First, enhance the way students investigate and understand phenomena and concepts while promoting active and scientific thinking is critical. Therefore, the integration of gamification in science education has been significantly increased to improve engagement, joyfulness, and motivation to support relevant activities that contribute to science education. Second, can potentially lift the obstacles in science education face, increasing motivation, cognitive and metacognitive achievement, and student enjoyment. Unlike a real school laboratory, gamification application can provide a safe and real-life environment for the student to experiment without any danger or fear of accidents. Lastly, Encourage to be proactive, try new ways, and repeat tasks if they want to while remaining anonymous and reducing their fear of failure. Moreover, the implementation of gamification is quite often associated with socially interactive and constructive learning environment. Students who engage in a gamified environment have become more receptive and willing to engage in future similar teaching. Lastly, I will explain about gamifying the science learning. It enables to situate children as gamers in authentic contexts and to engage them with game playing where science is embedded as part of the game. This is because authentic contexts can be designed around social scientific issues that are real and possibly localized to the communities in which children live, and also makes learning real and enables children to think and take actions relevant to their community. With the possibilities for creating a different reality within the games, this leads to student autonomy, critical and creative thinking, which are important if children are to get the most from the science education.
Let's continue the issue and the positive impact of gamification towards the teacher and also towards the student. Let's start with the issue of gamification for teachers. The first one is the gap of technology between the teachers and the student. Teachers required to learn more about the technologies. And the second issue is evaluation of performance, which is the cheating issue that students can look for answer in the internet. Issue of gamification for students. The first issue is accessibility. Students may have different accessibility of the internet. And the second issue is student performance. Applied in gamification only cannot evaluate the student performance because learning difficulty cannot be overcome. The positive impact of gamification for teachers. The first one is playful experience. Teachers can promote playful experience in their teaching and learning. The second one is improved engagement, where teachers can improve the student engagement for completing learning activities. The positive impact of gamification for students. The first one is motivation, where students motivate to learn more and more while playing the games. The second one is learning outcome, where gamification can promote the problem-solving skills for students. The third one is social connection, where students work together and make connection to more teamwork skills. Let's recap and conclude the issues and positive impact of gamification. Gamification can promote motivation and engagement in learning. But in learning, gamification alone cannot be applied. It must be applied with other methods. And gamification required accessibility and compatible device.
Nowadays, technology permeates a lot of our day-to-day life, having changed the way we live, shop, work, play, meet people, and socialize. We are already known that for some time that taking something many children love are games, and using some of the features to support learning has great benefits. Gamification in learning involves using game-based elements such as point scoring, peer competition, teamwork, score tables to drive engagement. This is one of the ways to help students assimilate new information and test their knowledge. It can apply to school-based subjects, but it also used widely in self-teaching apps and courses, showing that the effects of gamification do not stop when we are adults. Teachers and parents can implement gamification in various ways across countless subject areas. So, what is the ways to gamify the classroom? First, giving points for meeting academic objectives. Inspire students to see simple sets of questions in a whole new light.
Correct or well-structured answers operate on a point system, with students moving up through the ranks. What teachers can do is, students need to be citing details from the text and evidence for conclusions in class discussions. Answers without evidence can be worth 1 point. A correct answer with one piece of evidence worth 2 points, and a correct answer plus 2 pieces of evidence equal to 3 points. Secondly, teacher can gamify the classroom using levels, checkpoints, and other methods of progression. As well as tracking points, teacher can use various checkpoints, level, or other symbol of progression to give learners or students focus and proportionate bragging rights when they achieve it. Next, teachers also can gamify the classroom by giving learning badge instead of points or grades. Sometimes, something that symbolic can mean more than receiving points. When students reach certain checkpoints or levels, teachers may wish to present them with a marker of their success, such as learning badge or stickers. Then, teachers also can create challenges with more than one way to be solved and emphasize the different approaches. Create games that can challenge students' thinking and encourage them to think different approaches to face the challenges. This way will make students more attracted to learn more and make them more active during the lesson. Gamification has been proven effective both in educational settings, e-learning settings, and even for corporate companies using it to train employees. So, the teachers need to be more creative in creating fun environment in the learning process and try to use the gamification in the learning and teaching process in order to respond to students' interests.
And we move to the last part, which is examples of gamification. There are 3 different applications that future educators can use to boost engagement, collaboration, and learning, which are Bamboozle, QuizWizard, and Plickers. For the first application, which is Bamboozle, a little bit background of the apps, it was released in 2015 by Ronan Casey. It's actually an application that enhances engagement, various language skills in terms of grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, and also speaking skills. Students can play this application in class or online for quizzes, brain breaks, review, or more. It also allows students to play from just one screen without the need for student devices. The second application is QuizWizard. It was launched in 2017 by Team Bedroom. QuizWizard boosts student engagement with real-time classroom quiz racing. Teachers can create custom quizzes and track their class progress with just a few clicks. This application also allows each student progresses at their own pace to make it easy for teachers to see how the students are doing and assist who might be struggling. And we move to the last application, which is Plickers. It was launched in 2011 by Nolan Emmy. Plickers is a rapid response classroom polling app that lets teachers use one mobile device to scan paper cards for students' response. Teachers can collect real-time formative assessment data to quickly see who needs help and who's ready to move on. So now, if you want to know more about this topic and how to create these games, let's follow us on our live session to continue explore this topic.